This corner of my studio has been my home for pretty much 2 days straight. Why? Because I am reviewing all the mixes for all the tracks that are going into my album that I will be releasing on the 1st of August in just 6 days' time. So in this video, I'm going to be looking at one of my more recent tracks, a track called New Day, which I have talked about here on the channel before. So we're going to dive in and take a look at what I need to do to make this track a little closer to radio ready. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete. This is Studio Live today, where I help you create, record, and release your best music. And for the rest of this month, it's pretty much about my music because I'm finishing off my album here. But hopefully, by coming along on this journey with me, you're going to learn a few things and you're going to get some ideas and some motivation to keep creating, recording, releasing your own music. So in this video, I'm going to jump back into one of my more recent songs, a song called New Day, which I recorded and documented a little bit of that here on the channel recently that you might have seen. But the end mix I got with this song, I wasn't super happy with. My guitars were muddy, my vocals were sitting on top of the mix instead of sitting in the mix. So what I've done is I've learned some lessons. So throughout this process, it's actually been really good for me. Hopefully you're getting some tools and tips and tricks from this, but I'm getting some amazing advice because what I'm doing is going back to my old tracks and going what worked well and what didn't work well. And it's actually pretty simple. When I leave things alone, when I record a good quality sound and not over-process, not do too much to it, I'm getting a better sound. On the flip side, when I'm getting a good sound, it's because I'm actually not afraid to add too much. So that might sound like it contradicts itself, but what I'm finding is that keeping the volume right, recording things at the right volume, getting a really high quality recording at the source is really helping me out. But then when I'm actually adding compression, reverb, delay, that sort of thing, keeping it simple, what I was finding is I was just layering tracks and I was adding too many of all sorts of things. With my vocals, one of the best vocal sounds I got is in my song Anxiety, where all I really did was put the radio ready vocal setting on there, the default one here, and then I just dialed up the compression until it sat beautifully on top of those acoustic guitars. And I think that's one of the best vocal sounds that I've got. Your opinion, same sort of thing. I'm getting into some of these tracks and I'm finding that my vocals are not sitting in the mix, and it's because I'm layering too many vocals. Guitars, same deal. This track we're about to look at, I've got about 6-7 guitar tracks, and as you'll see in a minute, what I've done now is I've skimmed that all back and we've got like one stereo pair of guitars and they're holding the song together because simple is better. Sometimes keep it simple, stupid, is a good way to go. So that's probably my little rant pre this video, is to let you know that if you are recording, mixing, mastering, especially when you're learning, especially when you're getting into it, don't overcomplicate things. Don't do too much. Don't be afraid to try things, but don't just go, oh, it's not quite good, I'll layer something else, or it's not quite there, I'll add another effect. No, strip it back. Go back to basics. Work out what's working, what's not working, and then do what's working. More of it. Okay. That is enough. Let's jump in now because I just want to show you quickly what I've done with this song. And silly me, I didn't actually do a duplicate. I keep telling myself to do this and I didn't. So I've made some changes here. I don't have the original version, but again, I'll be linking the original version down in the description so that you can actually take a listen if you want to hear what I'm talking about with my first mix. But what I'll do is I'll take you through the changes I've made here, what I've done and why, and then I'll let you listen to this mix and then we'll be on our way. And then in the next few videos, we're going to finish off this mixing process. So yes, we're moving fast and there's lots of content coming at you, but we need to do that. So we'll then move on to our mastering process once we've done that. So let's dive down into the iPad now and take a look. Here is my track, New Day, here in GarageBand. So we've got some strings, electric piano, our pianos all up the top here, all our MIDI instruments. We've then got our bass guitar kicking in here. Then we have a lot of vocals. So we've got our lead vocal and some doubles for the little chorus section there. We've got our backing. We've got a high, a medium, and a low backing, and a second low, which never actually seemed to have anything recorded in it. Obviously didn't get around to that one. Now, this is where my guitars used to be. And you'll notice here that originally I recorded like a guitar track, and then I'm like, I got to double that guitar track, but I recorded it with 2 different microphones. So we had 4 tracks, and then I recorded like another version of it over here, and then I recorded another version. And you know what? I've gone through and I've stripped out all except for this one stereo pair of guitars down here. So we've got one on the left, if we have a look here, one over here on the pan to the left, one pan to the right, and that is driving this guitar sound that we have now. And all of these other ones were just muddying up the mix. So let me just demonstrate that now. If we add all these back in. So this is what, and this was in my original release version, this is what my guitars were starting to sound like. What the heck was I thinking? We've got microphones out of phase, which means that they are like cancelling each other out in some of the waveforms here. We've got muddiness up the wazoo. It is just sounding disgusting. So let us take all these off, if I can actually tap, and get it back to something more manageable. Now compare that to what we have when I just have these two guitars. So the guitars still aren't beautifully recorded, and I was a little bit disappointed with this. I used the stereo miking and I didn't get the distance right. I didn't record it exactly right, but it's a lot better, yeah? It's sounding crisper and cleaner and clearer, and it does not muddy up the mix. Now, I should have left all these on before so that you can hear it in the mix, but listen to what the mix here sounds like with the new setup here.
Was a time when we used to play outside. Didn't worry who was around. We were free and we...
So yeah, sounding pretty good, yeah. I quite like the sound of that. Let's just add back in by unmuting these. Take a listen to this Dog's Breakfast.
We didn't have a care about the things we put in the air. But those days are gone.
So my intent here was that let's disguise some of the mistakes by adding in a whole bunch more guitars. And that works to a certain degree, but not when you have that many, and not when you don't need them there. So, oops, if I soloed those, I meant to remute them. Let's go back and fix that. So, yeah, this for me was a bit of a lesson in simplifying, man, and embracing the original sound. So the reason that I wanted to do this is that I wasn't really happy. I wasn't 100% happy with these two guitars that I had recorded originally, because if you listen to the start there, yeah, there's a couple of little mistakes in there. Some of the notes don't get hit quite right. But this song is supposed to be a passionate kind of laid-back song. If there's a few string scrapes and there's a few things in there, then so be it, yeah? That's part of it. So that's my lesson learned for this song, and hopefully the mix is sounding much better. Now, the other thing I did want to look at is my lead vocals. So looking at the setup we had on my lead vocals here, so the volume itself was too loud. I've actually dropped the volume down a little bit, and just listening to that part, it might need to go down even a little bit more. So it's automated here at the moment. It's up at 3.4. Yeah, let's drop this down maybe to like a dB. Or a bit, dB and a bit. Let's put that... Oh, that just dropped a bit too much. Put it to around about 2.1. That looks good. And the mixing here, so the effects that I've got on this, the things that I've added in is that I have gone to my compressor and learning from what I did in some other tracks, I've actually dropped the threshold a bit, but I've upped the ratio, which means that it is not... The compressor's not kicking in as much, but when it does, it's compressing more. So on the other track, what is it, Anxiety, in fact I'll probably even compress this even more. Let's put it up to 5. Let's go a bit nuts. So I think I had it like 10-1 on Anxiety, and it sounded really good because it really compressed that sound, and I got a good overall sound on the vocal. So with these new settings, let's take a listen just to this lead vocal by itself, and then we'll bring it back in with the mix.
About the things we put in the air, but those days are gone. They have floated away. Now I'm moving on. No more yesterday, because it's gone. It's a new day.
Yeah, so I'm liking that a lot more than the original vocal. The original vocal was too loud. It sat on top of the mix. I think now it's sitting in the mix. The other thing I did to make it sit in the mix is I'm using these master effects more and more, and they're very simple. I've just dialed in a little bit of echo and reverb because I had something very similar in the other track, as I mentioned, in Anxiety, and it sounded really good, and it seems to be gluing these tracks together. I did the same with the main guitar parts, added a little bit of the echo and the reverb. Oh, not in the right sort of proportion. Let's just adjust that. Doesn't have to be exact. Which is sort of just adding the overall vibe of the song with that reverb and echo. So I think that is making it sound a lot better. So I am now a lot more comfortable with this track. I'm going to play it like we have in recent times, and you can listen to the whole track, and I would be interested in your feedback. So if you do think this is now sounding good, if you want to listen to the first one and then this one, feel free, but just take a listen to this and let me know if there's anything sticking out in the mix or anything that I need to change. I think the mixing is now good. I think the reverb, the EQ, and the compression is working with especially the vocals and the guitars, and they were the two main parts that were really sticking out to me. And I got some feedback from some great people over in the GarageBand users group. In fact, Leif Bjork, who's one of the guys there, gave me some really good feedback, and he's the one that said, hey, good song, you really need to fix the muddiness on those guitars and the vocals are too loud. And I'm like, you're 100% right. I'm going to do that. So that is hopefully now done or close to done. So let's go out now with we'll play back this track. This is my song, the remixed version of New Day.
Was a time when we used to play outside. Didn't worry who was around. We were free and we didn't have a care about the things we put in the air. But those days are gone, they have floated away. Now I'm moving on. No more yesterday, 'cause it's gone. It's a new day. There was a time when the women folks stayed home to care for all the little ones. You and I, well, we had to live in fear just because the way we appear. But those days are gone, they have floated away. Now I'm moving on. No more yesterday, 'cause it's gone, and it's a new day. Everyone needs a little comfort when they reflect on all the good times that we had and how they felt. But when we look back, we have our rose-colored glasses on. Let's take the best of what we had, make a new day. Hello darkness, my old friend. Your busy day is at an end. Is this just a fantasy? No escape from reality.
So thanks for hanging around and sticking with me through that process. Now, did you find that interesting? Am I right? Do you think less is more? Should we keep it simple more often? I certainly think so. I think when I look back and I see, the songs that I've recorded in 4 tracks and 8 tracks, and then I look at all the tracks I'm layering up here, I really am overcomplicating stuff. And I think I've sort of caught that from, watching other people and go, wow, that person has 32 tracks and they're just crushing it and they're getting a great sound. Well, yeah, it's not necessarily my sound. My sound sounds better with a little bit more stripped down and laid back, especially these sort of acoustic songs. So thank you again for watching. If you've got comments, questions, or suggestions about this track, anything here in this series, leave them down below and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you'd like to catch some other videos, there are 2 more linked down below. You can also subscribe to the channel by clicking on the Studio Live Today icon in the top right corner, or head to studiolivetoday.com for more audio goodness.